in order to evolve, I think the next stage of human evolution is more of like a spiritual evolution. And our biggest obstacle right now is overcoming the ego, identifying it in our lives when it's acting up, and shifting from living in the ego to living in like our core or our beingness and our true self. Humanity's living in a state of where we're living from our egos. And a lot of this has to do with like identifying with things that aren't truly us. We're placing labels on ourselves, saying, I'm this, I'm that, identifying with our jobs, our possessions, our bodies. And we're not living in the present moment. We're staying stuck in the past about things that we could have done differently, we should have done, wish we didn't do, or we're looking towards the future because we hope that it'll be different than where we're at now. All we have is now. And if we want to start going up towards love, then we need to move over from ego to this other side here. And this is going to take things like awareness. We need to be conscious. We need to be walking through life with an alertness. Because when we're in the ego, we're living from a state of unconsciousness. Because that's when the ego can take over, is when we're being unconscious. But if we want to come here and live from our truest self, then we need to be aware. We need to be conscious of our thoughts. That's the main thing we need to be conscious of, is our thoughts, because those go on all the time, and it's easier to be unconscious of those. It's not getting checked by anyone else other than yourself. So it's easiest to let those slide. So we need to be aware and conscious of our thoughts, but also our actions, our words, and our emotions. And we need to accept the present moment, to make the shift from here. Obviously, if we're just focusing on the past and future, then if we want to shift to our true self, we need to be in the present moment, the only moment that we'll ever have, the only time that truly exists. Because the past doesn't exist. It's gone. And the future doesn't exist either. What is it? It's yet to come. So we need to root firmly in the present moment by doing things such as recognizing who we truly are, our true identity. Your ego wants to put the labels of, I am Cooper, I am la-da-da, but at the core, it's just I am. So say that. Try saying that to yourself and see how that feels. But more ways to tap into this true self is to just go through life. Maybe you're on a walk today. Perceive everything around you without labeling it. So say you're walking through a nature area. All the life that's teeming around you, usually you could put a label on the sounds that you're hearing, or the things that you're seeing, or whatever you're smelling even. But don't. This time just try to perceive it like it's the first time you've ever perceived it. Because if you're living in the present moment, it is the first time, and it's the only time, because it's the only time you've ever had. The past doesn't exist, neither does the future. Yeah, and one more tip is take some conscious breaths, just to breathe. Inhale deeply, following your breath, and then exhale deeply, following your breath. Stopping everything else around you and just focusing on your breath for just one inhale, exhale. That's all you have to do. If that's the only one you ever do, it's not going to make that big of a difference. So the idea is to do it multiple times over, but if you can get that, that's a start. So, yeah.